Welcome to the world of Pokemon Fire Red, the only way you should ever play Gen 1. No amount of nostalgia or better graphics can get me to play the other ones. This is Professor Oak, but you can call him Elf Monster. He's been studying Pokemon his entire life, but for some reason only has 3 Pokemon left. He's been taking care of his grandson Blue and his neighbor Red since they were born, and teaching them everything he knows about Pokemon in the Kanto region. Throughout the years, Professor Michael Jackson has realized that his grandson is a cocky but talented kid while Red is obedient and smart. Oak started taking a lot of favor toward Red, since Oak thinks obedience is one of the best qualities somebody can have. Now at the age of 10, which is when you become an adult, both Blue and Red are ready to go on their own Pokemon adventures. Oak called both Blue and Red to his lab so they could each get their first Pokemon. Oak tells Red to go first, but takes a long time. So Blue got fed up and decided to go instead. He went up to each Pokeball and smelled them. The Pokeball on the left smelled like flowers. The Pokeball on the right smelled ironic. Ultimately, he went with the Pokeball in the middle, because it smelled blue. After seeing Blue pick Squirtle, Red decided to go with Charmander, since he strives for challenge. Red has learned under Oak that in order to be the best trainer possible, he needs to make sure his Pokemon obey him. There's the whole loving your Pokemon route. Don't think anyone's ever gotten stronger from that. Or he could just rule with an iron fist, which Red thought was a lot funnier. He named his starter Fire, since that's what a Charmander and its evolutions are. Oak then told Blue and Red to go and learn about their Pokemon, and to start out, fight each other. Only on Blue! Red and Blue throw out their starters. You can see all the intense, high-octane, high-power excitement a battle can bring. After a hard-fought back and forth, Red was barely able to come out the victor. Looks like Red's rock was a bit stronger than Blue's paper this time around. Blue shrugs it off like nothing really happened, notices how awful his Squirtle smells when it's fainted, and says he doesn't want to smell that again. They both leave and start learning to travel with their Pokemon. Here we are at Viridian City. Red realizes Charmander is like a poorly crafted wooden hammer that needs some repairs every now and then. So he decided to go to the market when he got in town for some potions. As he arrived, the clerk was relieved to see someone from Pallet Town finally show up. They handed Red a dusty package that had been sitting there for weeks, since Oak never came to pick it up. Red gave the package to Fire, since that's what slaves are for. When Red gets back, Blue shows up as well, since apparently Oak couldn't just tell them what he wanted to tell them the first time. Inside the package were a bunch of empty Pokeballs, and Oak then explained what the Pokédex is. The Pokédex fills out as you find and catch new Pokemon. It gets all the information about that Pokemon from Cerebi. Oak tells Blue and Red that he wants them to fill out the Pokédex to the best of their ability, and a great way to do that is by taking on the Gym Challenge. Blue can't wait to smell all the Pokemon in the world, so he takes off. After he leaves, Oak explains something interesting to Red. The Pokédex has a special setting on it that only he currently knows how to activate. He has been perfecting this setting for decades, and is waiting for someone to come along to use it again. He chose Red. This setting is known as Nuzlocke. It forces the trainer to only be able to catch one Pokemon per route, forces them to nickname each Pokemon they catch, and when a Pokemon faints, it cannot be revived. It must be released. Oak decided to let Blue be the one to try and complete the Pokédex, while he wants Red to go after his true goal, to be the strongest in the world. The entire idea of the Nuzlocke is to toughen him up, and his Pokemon. Oak has also asked him to not use healing items in battle, while punching up during gym battles, just to make it even tougher. With the unfortunate burden of a parent's expectations on his shoulders, Red sets off on his journey. Want a route? Pokemon! Thanks to Oak's teachings, Red knows that Brock is the first gym leader he will end up facing, and he needs a plan if he hopes to beat him when all he has is a Charmander at the moment. With the Nuzlocke rules in mind, and knowing what Pokemon show up on what routes, he realizes he has to go for something specific, catching a Mankey. Learning types are another benefit to having the old man help raise him, since now he knows fighting is super effective on Rock. Thanks to the town map he stole from Blue's sister, he was able to get to the places he needed to go easily. Now to maximize his chances of getting a Mankey, he had to make sure he caught a Rattata. He had 2 chances to catch a Rattata. once in the one and only Route 1 in existence, and again in Route 2. Even with the Rattata, there's still a small % chance that he can get some useless bird. But luckily there are a lot more Mankeys on this route than there are sparrows. His first ever catch on Route 1 is a Pidgey, which he names Fly. Fly was named Fly because it can fly. His second catch on Route 2 is the Rattata he was hoping to get, which he names Whatever One. He knows he's going to catch a lot of garbage that will only be useful as sacrifices, if anything. Now it was time to hope he gets the Mankey. And he gets it! He doesn't see Mankey being of much use later on in his journey, so he names the Mankey Brock, because that will be his entire purpose, to fight Brock. If only life were that simple. Red decides to check the grass on the other side, but gets stopped by Blue, who says it doesn't smell greener over there. Red told Blue that's not how the saying goes, which offended Blue, so Blue challenged him to a battle. This is a very stressful battle for Red, since it's the first real battle he's been in with the Nuzlocke rules. It didn't help that Brock didn't do very well. Blue's Pokemon made him look like a fool. Brock seems to be quite simple-minded, not really understanding why you can't hit a bird with his fists. He's a perfect fit for Red. He doesn't need any know-it-alls on his team catching on to how he plans to treat them. Brock will get his training in later, so Red decides to swap him out. Fire and Whatever One clean up Blue's team. Blue blames the loss on being distracted by the grass he smelled earlier and scurried off. After beating his rival again and catching the future star of Pewter Gym, Red heads to Viridian Forest. When he first entered the place, he got this ominous feeling. It was almost like an apparition, or something bigger was watching him. And it was the first shudder Red had felt in a long time. He knew he had to face this. If he didn't, how would he ever fulfill Oak's dream of being the strongest? It's what he's worked for his entire young life. Red caught Whatever to the Caterpie and kept struggling through the forest. As he was going, all of a sudden he couldn't move. He thought to himself, was this it? Was this the thing he was so worried about? But no, it was just some weird kid acting like catching bugs is cool. He said his name was Satoshi, which sounded like a pretty cool name, but then again he couldn't be that cool if all he loved doing was catching bugs. After the battle, Red remembered how important it was for Brock to be strong before his battle with Brock. Luckily this forest is full of useless Pokemon that don't even know any actual moves, and there were even some trainers that used those Pokemon willingly. After training up a bit, Red was nearing the edge of the forest, but then she appeared. Look at it. Sitting in this forest of all places. What is it even doing here? Does it have any idea how annoying it must be for all these bugs to have it just running around this place? Red knew that she had to be taken care of for his own sanity and mental strength moving forward. He was able to just squeeze by using fire, but he put too much power into it and caused Viridian Forest to be burned to the ground. Anyway, after destroying an entire ecosystem, he finally arrives in Pewter City and heads straight to the gym. Brock yells at Red from across the room, telling him that he better keep his distance. His name is B-Rock because his skills with rock types and astronomy are second to most. Brock's Onix and Geodude are really loud and annoying, just like him. Brock takes care of Brock easily, not breaking much of a sweat along the way. Looks like the drawing pan trap card wasn't enough to save you this time, Kaiba. Shocked, Brock congratulates Brock and gives Red his first badge. All of Brock's training on worthless Pokemon really paid off. One would think he really earned his spot on Red's team. Right? Brock was just glad he didn't lose to an electric type this time.